Good morning, traders. So, pretty much, I am sticking with the same plan, which I've had in the past two videos that we've just completed. This entire move right here is a wave 3 in the bigger time frame, and we're currently in the process of a wave 4, which typically you don't trade wave 4s. Okay, they're choppy. They tend to be choppy messes on wave 4, and we're just walking the trend down, which that could all change today. We don't know how it's going to play out, but that could all change today. Typically for the wave 4, what we're looking for is a break of the current bell curve to backtest the prior bell curve. Okay, and so that would put us right down into my target zone down here. Um, so that would put us down here. We got the daily 20 and the weekly 5 right here, virtually the exact same spot. So we're looking down here around 64.10. Okay. The 64.10 area has also got is a prior point of control. Okay. Um, so there's a lot of things saying that, we could very well be coming down into the 64.10-ish area, uh, here today, tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. And then on the bigger time frames, then we'd be looking for uh, to come up here and get a double top in the markets, uh, for a wave 5, or potentially even push out a little bit above that for an exhaustion to high in the markets. So let's see how it plays out here in the markets today. Okay. Pretty much that's my thesis, what I'm looking for here. But typically, like I said, if you're going to look for a bigger wave 4, then this bell curve up here should be violated to the downside, uh, and yeah, a little bit deeper uh, pullback than what we currently have. And then also on the monthly time frames, down here, uh, these are our monthly levels, so our main support would be down into this zone as well. So there's a lot of things lining up suggesting that down here is a better backtest area than what we currently are enjoying. Okay. It's just taking forever to get down there. Okay. And the momentum was very strong up here. That's why it's taking so long to come down off this very strong momentum that we just came off of. So I don't know how it's going to play, but we are walking the trend down. Uh, I bet I anchored these anchors off of close Friday and the all-time highs, uh, and how we're walking down here. And those fibs are based off the 5 SMA to the all-time highs, um, and from last week or from Friday, because everything is still seeming to line up with those. The fib levels are all lining up and everything from last week. Okay. NQs, the all chart. Both E and SPY are pretty much doing the same. I'm going to zoom in here real quick. We're just walking that trend down here. Okay. We are showing a little bit more relative weakness here. Okay. And that's typical on the NASDAQ. It tends to overshoot a little bit more. Okay, guys. Um, so daily 20, daily 5, weekly 5 are all basically exactly the same area. Both of these are coming into last week's uh, value area high. So value area highs right here. Both of these are lining up right here. Okay. It's another thing to think about here. Our bell curve is much more extended, so it's not nearly as you don't have the double distribution happening like you do have on the net yet. The S&P, the S&P is looking more like an exhaustion high versus the Nasdaq just kind of building out sideways. So it's definitely something to think about on that. Uh, any other things I can say about this? We're pretty much typically, as a rule of thumb, you're always looking to buy the value area low as a buy zone. And even this morning, we are trying to support that value area low, these prior highs. Okay. So, this is being supported so far this morning. So you don't want to be, you want to be. I would be much more comfortable if we were breaking down, trying to defend it for a bearish scenario. Right here, right now, this is still looking like a buy the dip scenario until proven otherwise. Okay, guys, and I can't remember where the ESs were on that. Yes, the ESs still have room to come down to test that support. The ESs can come down in here. Like I said, this area right here tends to be a buy the dip zone. We're still well above that. Russell, guys. Okay, we'll zoom in here real quick. We're right at this week's current point of control. Really not seeing much of any sell side action here in the Russell. It's just digesting the breakout move. Not really getting any type of payment here. Okay, so this one here is the most bullish pattern that we got going on right here. Okay, um, and we don't want to ignore that. So um, I would ideally, if we would have had a value area low right here uh, above this, I would have been a little bit more constructive on the bullish side. But it's something to definitely keep on watch going forward here. Okay, not really something I want to be shorting. Okay, um, just food for thought on that. 3:46 in the morning here that I'm doing this. So basically, yeah, we're just kind of looking for the walk down into the daily 20 and the weekly 5 SMA as this week goes on. So, and like I said, generally you do not trade those scenarios. Another typical thing you do see on wave fours is below average volume. And that's exactly what we're getting here. On this reset, it just got very low volume. Uh, we're slowly getting that reset. Yesterday was a very low volume day, uh, below average volume on the Nasdaq, but it wasn't quite as bad. And in the Russell, which is the most bullish, look how far the volume had dropped off on the Russell on um, a fairly bullish day. So, yeah, just a few things, takeaways, and the VIX. How are we doing on the VIX here? And the VIX, just not really getting anywhere here so far on the VIX. We did get that breakout that I showed in the prior video, looking at downtrend breakout, which we did get that. So, and we're still holding above that. So, but we're just not. Doesn't seem to be. As soon as we opened Sunday night uh, or Monday morning, it just pretty much faded from there. That low volume, just not a lot of fear in the markets. So you don't have to have the markets can't go down with the VIX not participating, and that is typical with a wave four. So be very mindful of that going forward. Okay, that's just a few little things here. We did have PANW report last night, Palo Alto Network, we were right into yearly support. Uh, they just rocketed right off their earnings. So that's a bullish reaction as well. Okay. So, guys, we are getting a lot of retailers reporting today with Home Depot. A lot of these retailers and stuff have been running up into the earnings event, but Home Depot is the big uh, earnings announcement this morning. And so be very mindful of that. And we also have, let me see here what we got after hours. 13 after hours. I would have thought that would have showed that already. Home Depot is the big one for today. Tomorrow, Target. Baidu's reporting tomorrow. TJ Maxx. So getting a lot of retailers. Pretty much, typically these are not you got Lowe's tomorrow. They don't tend to really move the markets. So we got a lot of retail hitting the tape. You have to be very mindful of that going forward here. Um, and if you go on here on the daily, Home Depot had a really nice run. We've had a really decent run here on Home Depot since last earnings, which was a bad earnings report last earnings, so always be mindful of that. We're above this current pivot, so I would be looking. I'd be wondering if Home Depot is probably going to fail this pivot area here at the 385 because they had lower guidance and stuff. Okay, we've got Lowe's, really nice run on Lowe's since the last earnings. They sold off on that, and then Target, TJ Maxx as well. Target good surprise. Uh, so we could look for. I don't think you're going to see a surprise. I think you're going to see signs of the. They're actually going to get our first real inflation stuff. So be very mindful of that, guys. So this tariff stuff, we're going to really start getting some solid reports on how these tariffs are going to be impacting these retailers, and so we have to be very mindful of that. This is probably going to be a negative impact on the broader markets. Just finding out just how much of an impact these tariffs are going to have. Uh, TJX, hey guys, so be very mindful of that. We're going to get the hard data now of how these tariffs are affecting prices at these retailers. Okay, so be very mindful of that. Thanks a lot. Like my video if you get a chance. Comments below are appreciated, and retweet me if you get a chance.